Auburn is finally ready to turn up the heat on Jackson Arnold in practice, but will it be enough for him to conquer Baylor? Welcome on into the Auburn Express, powered by the War Rapport. I'm your host, Mike G. And thank you so much for turning us up and turning us on. We'll turn it out. I'm here with my good friend, Jacob Goins. It's time to get going. We're getting going. Yeah. Thursday morning, we're talking a little Auburn football. More specifically, we're talking Jackson Arnold and his preparation for game one versus Baylor here in just about 2 weeks, Jacob. It was recently reported that Hugh Freeze was telling his defensive coordinator, DJ Durkin, to take it easy on Jackson Arnold. The quote was, "The number one goal is for the quarterback to leave practice with confidence." Jacob, you and I have not got a chance to talk about this on camera, so I want to lean into this here. Now that they are no longer taking it easy and it's more of a stress test, at the recent scrimmage, it appears that the defense dominated. Now, we didn't get any reports specifically on how Jackson Arnold has played from that scrimmage, but I can tell you some of my sources have told me that it's been rough for him so far in fall camp. Talk to me about Jackson Arnold and his preparedness for August 29th versus Baylor. Hugh Freeze is going to want to open it up, and he's not going to want to limit his offense this year, and Jackson Arnold has to be prepared.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me back on. Was out for vacation last week and glad to be back in the rotation here with you for this week. And you're right. There's so many things to look at here with this Auburn offense as a whole. But, of course, everybody's looking at the receivers, but they're looking at the play of the quarterback, of Jackson Arnold, and what he can do and what he brings, and the fact that we didn't get to fully see him a year ago at Oklahoma, and you're hoping to get the full, true potential of Jackson Arnold in his time at Auburn. And while the scrimmage was closed off on Saturday, the ones and the things that we've kind of heard and seen were, that the offense is still not where it needs to be and that it's behind the defense at this point of fall camp. Good news is you still have several weeks until the season starts, right? And so you still have time to get better. You still have time to improve. You still have time to fix the things that are not working properly. And you see this all the time across college football. The first couple of weeks of fall camp, the defense is almost always going to be ahead of the offense because the offense has to communicate everything. You're putting in new plays. You're putting in a new system. You're treating a new quarterback. You're treating new offensive linemen. It's going to be basically all new running backs other than Damari Alston. And so you're going to be behind the defense just as a unit the first couple of weeks of fall camp. But those comments were kind of weird to me from Hugh Freeze, and I think we've kind of moved on from all of that. There's some play calling things that have been circling around that have people fired up. But overall, Jackson Arnold, I think, is going to be okay, but you want him to feel comfortable. You want him to have some good scrimmages and some good practices and things before you get to game week, which will be weird and different because they're going to have to move everything up by a day with that being on a Friday night. And so while you still have time, Mike, to get things figured out with Jackson Arnold, you are counting down the days until you don't have any more time and you got to put up or shut up.
Yeah, look, it is time to put up or shut up. What does that look like in game one, though, Jacob? I've gone back and forth with a lot of our listeners on this. I think he clears 250. I think there's a chance maybe he clears 300 and that they throw the ball in volume on this one. Particularly, I'm not sure it'll happen this way, but particularly if Auburn gets down and they got to throw their way back into the football game. Under Hugh Freeze, they have not done well playing from behind, so hopefully that is not the case here. But, Hugh Freeze aims for a run-pass ratio of about 55-45 in the running game's favor. And Jackson Arnold can move. He can move with his legs, but the 100-something plus carries that Peyton Thorne had on average his first 2 years at Auburn, I know they don't want to see that. They want to see him use his arm more than his legs. What do you think this looks like for Jackson Arnold?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the offensive line play, right? I mean, on the road on a Friday night in a hostile environment with a brand new offensive line that's going to be putting 2 or 3 new faces in there, How do they perform? What is their strength? What are they able to do? Are they able to protect the quarterback when Jackson Arnold drops back? Are they able to create early holes on first and second down in the first and second quarter of this football game? Because look, man, if Auburn goes out there and just starts gashing that defensive line of Baylor with Damari Alston and Jeremiah Cobb and all these guys, Terrell Robinson, right? If you're getting 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, run the football. I don't want to see Jackson Arnold throw if that's the case. And God, that's a flashback to last year, right? And Auburn fans just had a PTSD attack just now. But if you're running the ball well, thanks to the offensive line, then don't use Jackson Arnold unless you have to. But if it's the situation that you're talking about where you get in a slugfest or you get in a shootout or you get behind early, fans do want to see him throw it around. And the strength of this offense is what, Mike? It's the receivers. It's the guys on the outside that are going to be catching the football. You have to use them to your advantage. And so I think for a successful performance for Jackson Arnold and Auburn, particularly in week 1, be crisp, be clean, don't turn the football over. Nobody's saying he's got to throw for 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, and Auburn puts up 80 points. Nobody's saying that at all. But what you can't do is go 10 of 25, have 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and Auburn hasn't moved the football past the 25-yard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be stagnant on offense in this game. And I think it can be led by Jackson Arnold, but there are other players around him that can help this offense go in game 1.
Yeah, look, you mentioned the guys on the outside there, Cam Coleman being the most prominent of them, voted preseason first team all SEC, expected to have a big season for Auburn. They've got to get the ball. They've got to get the ball to the playmakers in this one. That includes the running backs.
Yes.
Damari Alston and Jeremiah Cobb, 2 guys who played in this system last year and should be able to produce quite a bit. If Jackson Arnold is struggling to move the ball through the air, what do you expect in terms of maybe some read option or something that kind of mixes things up for Jackson and gets these running backs involved?
Well, I mean, I would think, and I would like to think, and we won't fully know until we see these 2 teams square up on the football field itself, but I would like to think that Auburn's going to be faster on the edge than the Baylor defense, right? I mean, I'm talking about guys like Jeremiah Cobb, Malcolm Simmons, even Eric Singleton or Bryce Kane, those types of players who are built for speed. Get them the football in jet sweep motions or reverses or whatever you want to do, and get them on the outside and get an open space. And for whatever reason, yeah, you can't move the football through the air traditionally, or not running well between the tackles or whatever, right? Those would be concerns, yes, but we'll worry about those later. Get guys on the outside. Just get the dudes the football, man. I don't care how you do it. Don't get too cute. Don't be trying to do triple back reverse passes and crap like that. But just get your playmakers the football, get out in space, and see what you can do. I have more confidence in Auburn's offensive skill guys to make the play more than I do in the Baylor defenders to make the play, if that makes sense. So get it to your guys, get them out wide, and let them run wild. And I think Auburn is a bigger, faster, stronger team than Baylor at every single position on the football field. Just find a way to get it to your playmakers. But I will say this too, we've seen it before. If you're Hugh Freeze or Ken Austin or Derek Nix or whoever the heck is calling plays, you don't have to outsmart yourself. You don't have to be too cute. And if you do that, you're going to get yourself in trouble on the road in game 1. Just get it to the playmakers and let them do what they do best.
Yeah, look, on last night's show, we talked about play calling, which I want to get into here in our second half. But before we move on, I do want to talk about that Baylor defense really quickly, though. Dave Aranda, I got to assume he's going to have his guys fairly ready. Now, Baylor offensively, they faced 6 top 60 defenses last year, and they won 1 of them. Auburn would have been one of the better defenses that Baylor faced, but I don't know that Baylor would have been one of the better defenses that Auburn faced.
Yeah.
And trying to match this up, and when we were saying who has the advantage, the Auburn offense versus the Baylor defense, who would you give the slight edge right now? I mean, really, Auburn has not proved much offensively in Hugh Freeze's first 2 years on the Plains. So it would be easy to kind of give Baylor maybe the nod there. But there's a lot of expectations that it's going to be better. Where are you at right now on the Auburn offense versus the Baylor defense?
In terms of confidence and production, I'll give the edge to the Baylor defense. But in terms of on-paper talent and potential, I'll give the slight edge to the Auburn offense. And You're hoping that it all comes together quickly for the Auburn offense and they will prevail, right? Again, this offense doesn't have to put up 80 points in the season opener, but I'd love to see Auburn drop 30 points. I mean, you didn't do that hardly at all last year against a Power 4 team. So you do that, you're in good hands with the defense that you're playing alongside as well. So, yeah, I think just pure raw talent and potential, the Auburn offense could clearly beat the Baylor defense, but you have to prove it. And Baylor's done that enough defensively, and Dave Aranda's a great defensive head coach. Auburn just has to prove it, and then they'll have the big advantage.
They do have to prove it, and they're going to have to prove it with play calling. So we'll talk about that next on the Auburn Express. This episode of the Auburn Express is brought to you by our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. That's right across the street from the Chattahoochee Valley Community College, next to Renfro's Supermarket and Marco's Pizza. The Vibe Vault. If you're in the Columbus, Phoenix City area and you're looking to get fresh for the weekend, get fresh for the weekend with the Vibe Vault. Not just barbers, lifestyle consultants. This episode of the War Rapport is brought to you by our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, the Rogue Shop has something that has you covered. When you get there, please let them know that the War Rapport sent you by using that code. One thing our friends at setsforsociety.ai. Become a better teammate, a better coworker, a better partner with Sets for Society. They have custom personality assessments to let you know more about how you can relate better to the people in your life and how they can relate better to you. Get your custom personality assessment started at setsforsociety.ai. Get to know yourself with Sets for Society. I want to thank our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Hold on, let me say that word. I want to thank our friends at Golden's Cast Iron. Visit goldenscastiron.com/WR. Use code Get Your Weight Up for 15% off your weights and code TWR for $65 off fire pits and Kamado grills. The summer's here. It's time to work out, grill out, chill out. Golden's Cast Iron. Who the heck is calling plays? Again, we spoke about this last night on our live show, but I did want to get into it with you. We huddled with the coaches earlier this week, and it was said that some coaches do first down play calling, others do second down play calling. It was the whole multi-headed play calling thing has been a topic on the Plains here for a while. And more specifically, they said Derek Nix handles first down strategy / play calling. Ken Austin handles third down play calling, and then Hugh Freeze has the authority to overrule anything they say or do. I got to tell you, there are a lot of things in this game that I feel very, very confident about. This is not one of them. I've been very consistent on this over the years. The whole everybody calls a play thing, I don't understand it. I would love to know how many other coaches employ a strategy like this. Talk to me about your feelings about Auburn's play calling. It seems that it's been curious at points. We got the whole fourth down debacle versus Georgia last year where the QB was not on the same page with the coach. Yeah. They pointed the finger at each other in the media. If you're Hugh Freeze, you can't afford for this to be a storyline in a negative way.
Right. And I'll take this in two separate chunks here. I go back to what we saw on the sidelines last year with the debacle of the Auburn offense. Mike, how many times did you and I see from the press box at Jordan-Hare or listening on the radio or watching on TV or going back and watching highlights? How many times did we see Hugh Freeze and Peyton Thorne getting into it on the sidelines, because clearly there was miscommunication. Clearly, one person thought they were doing one thing and one person thought they were doing the other thing, and it was just pure frustration, pure disaster, right? And we were like, man, why can they not get on the same page? What is going on? Well, I thought Hugh Freeze was the quarterback whisperer and that he was the genius on offense, yada, 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 right? Well, we get this insight from Auburn Beat, Auburn Media, ourselves, and everybody who has listened and covered this team. And turns out Derek Nix releases this idea that he calls plays on first down. Hugh Freeze calls plays on second down. Ken Austin calls plays on third down. But then Hugh Freeze, as the head coach, can say, 3rd and 2, I don't think I want to run that play, Kent. I want to run this play. And then they have to run that. Do we understand how confusing and how disastrous that can be? I really tried not to, Mike. I promise. I tried not to overreact to that when I read it, and we tried not to lose it on our show when we read that. But it's like, man, what are you doing here? You're so overcomplicating things when you simply don't have to, right? You don't have to make it that difficult on yourself. I get the idea, and on paper, it sounds good. Oh, well, we'll catch them off guard. They won't be able to prepare for us. They won't be able to plan for it. We'll have them confused, them being your opponent, them being the defense. But it's like, man, you're confusing your quarterback. If he doesn't know who the play call's coming from, or if it changes last second, or who it's going to be, or what it's going to be, or why it's going to happen, it's like, no wonder Peyton Thorne could never get it right. No wonder he could never have the play call correct or make the right decision or not know where the football was going. It's like, you don't have to make it that difficult on yourselves, but yet here we are going into another season, and it's just so wild to me to see that this is how it's all laid out and broken down. And so hopefully there are some changes coming, or hopefully they get this thing worked out. I mean, I don't care who it is at this point, but there needs to be one person calling plays, one person responsible for it, and one person that takes the fame or the blame if things go well or things go wrong. But I guess that's not how Auburn wants to operate. And I just don't know how that's going to be successful. I really, really don't.
This is another one of those things where if they're doing this, okay, I'm not sure I would say this to the media, because if there's any confusion, everyone's going to point back to this, and I don't have a basis for saying that this is unusual. It seems unusual, but I would love to take a poll of SEC head coaches and see how many of them have multiple play callers. Are there examples of highly successful teams doing this? Or is this a Hugh Freeze special? I'm flabbergasted.
Like you said, I mean, let's say a first down, it's 1st and 5 after an offsides or whatever, and you lose 7 yards on a terrible trick play. Oh, way to go, Derek Nix. Nicely done, dude. Or you have a bad second down play, or it's 3rd and short and you try to throw a deep ball. It's like, what are we doing, Hugh or a Kent, right? I mean, now the fans have a direct person to blame, and it's not always that way. That it's not always black and white like that, but that's how it was laid out. And of course, media has taken it and ran with it. Fans have taken it and ran with it. But what else are you supposed to do with that information? Like, you got clear and gave us clear insight on what has been happening, but what's been happening hasn't been working. And so unless it all just magically gets fixed this year, and Auburn is one of the best offenses in the SEC, everybody's going to come back to this and say, well, maybe it's because you run the most confusing offense we've ever seen in the 2020.
Agreed. Again, lots of things fill me with confidence for this opener versus Baylor. This is not one of them.
I agree with that.
Really, really nervous about, can they get in a flow calling plays like this? I mean,
I don't see how.
So much of play calling, when you listen to the better play callers, they talk about having a feel for play calling. And, can you establish a flow with one guy calling, with multiple people calling plays within a series?
Yeah.
Within a set of downs. That seems a little wild to me, but hey, let us know what you think in the comments after the video. Do you like that Auburn has multiple play callers? We want to hear from you. And while you're there in the comment section, do us a favor. smash that super thanks button. Help show us some love. Your financial support helps keep the work that we're doing here going. Jacob Goins, thank you for joining the show today. Before we get out of here, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can tune in each and every day, Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 on ESPN 106.7 if you're in the Auburn Opelika area. And when this comes out, we are going to be about a week away from high school football getting started. So Auburn High School hits the field at Duck Sanford Stadium. Those games are locally on Wings 94.3 in the Auburn Opelika area. So that is a week from tomorrow. I believe it's on the 22nd on Friday. So looking forward to that season starting as well.
Guys, that's it for another great edition of the Auburn Express, powered by the War Rapport. If you want more content like this, please hit like and subscribe. We are the War Rapport on every social media platform. TW Rapport on TikTok. We're signing off, and as always, War Eagle.